Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast, episode 464. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
Corey Feinsod.
Heyo.
And Tony Korkanakis.
Woo!
Welcome, guys.
Shooter.
Welcome, listeners. Shooter. Listeners and viewers to 464 of the Gamecast. Oh, lots of stuff going on. Lots of shooters going on. So we have a lot to talk about with that. Let's just, I guess, kick it off with what we've been up to then. And I'm sorry I just slammed my desk while I was talking. If that was loud. So on this recording. But yeah, so kicking it off what we've been up to, guys. Mike, what have you been playing?
Well, I got caught in Witcher 3, so I'm playing that again.
More Witcher 3. All these new games.
I just played that last year, dude.
Yeah, all these new games, man.
There's nothing new right now for me. Not really. I'm waiting on the DLC for Ultimate Alliance 3, and there is Gears, but I'm not a big fan. I did play it a little bit. I'm not, because it's a free download, obviously.
Yeah.
So I played it. I played it with my friend a little bit, and it's Gears. It's the same.
Well, I'm gonna break that down. Actually, I'll break that down for you after this.
It's okay, I guess, but it's not a game really for me. I'm surprised again by how much is new in my playthrough of Witcher 3. This is why people love this game. There's been a handful of legitimately new quests I didn't see, already, and I'm still early in playing it over again. So it's
like a good book. You discover things that you didn't realize before.
Yeah, and also
again,
apparently I the first time I played, I did simulated a Witcher 2 save. And this time I just answered questions, and I just made it so that everyone was alive with the way I answered questions. And now, so some things are totally different. I met two characters I didn't have before. So I'm like, oh, okay. So, I mean, there is a reason why people go crazy about this game. It's just, don't try to, walk around a corner too fast.
Yeah. All right. I guess I'll go. I mean, Tony, do you want to go? I mean, it's up to you. Have you played anything?
I actually got into Tetris 99 again. Because they introduced the version 2.0, which they give you daily quests now. Get
that battle pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh god. I might actually, because it's only $10 and there's some decent stuff behind it. But they let you get these tickets which you can redeem for other themes for the game and stuff like that. So I've just been playing a couple games a day because it goes by pretty quick. But man, some of these people, I'm just just crushed me. I'm crushing people, and then all of a sudden, some dude just targets me and just goes, boom. I'm like, what the fuck?
Just some bricks all over your...
And, there's a pseudo-achievement system in the game, too, which I didn't know before. But you get different icons for your profile depending on, what you do. So I was going through those, and apparently I earned this one icon where it's a shark, and I'm like, okay, I like sharks, that's cool. So I equipped it, and then it gives me the details, and it's eliminated 10 players in one match. I'm like, holy shit. That's pretty good. Eliminating 10% of the enemies just by myself. So I was like, yeah, exactly. I was like, that's pretty cool. Other than that, I went back to Ultimate Alliance.
Nice.
I talked about Astral Chain. I beat that last week, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's some extra stuff in Astral Chain that I'm doing, but the thing is you can unlock a super boss, but you have to do 70 missions to get there. And it's fun and all because it's mostly just action missions at this point, but it's a lot to just sit there and do them. So I think I did 25 over the span of 3-4 days, and I was just I need to step away from this. I was like, well, I still got Ultimate Alliance to beat before Zelda comes out this week, so I think I'll be able to do that because I just beat the Thor story level just without saying the location or characters and all. I did that level, so I'm pretty close.
Yeah,
cool.
Next week, it's coming up in a few days, Zelda.
Yep.
Yes.
A few days.
Yes. I'm not gonna be done with Gears before that comes out, but I'm gonna be at probably the ending of it, so I'll be able to. Yeah. I did pick up Borderlands, the Super Deluxe Edition.
Okay.
So my question to you, Corey, is what's in that? Is that all the DLC with that?
Yes, it's a season pass.
So I just
you got it for $100.
Yeah. So I just think
it's going to be $120 now.
Okay, so that's why I thought I'm just going to hang on to it, and I'll hang on to it, and then it's worth the value at that point. Plus, I get a steelbook. So I picked that up.
I was much more happy about it than when I initially saw it, because when you see the picture, it's just the cover. Like they didn't change. Like I like when the steelbook is different than like the cover of the actual game.
It's like incentive.
Yeah, but they actually make it. It's the same image, but they spice it up a little bit. So.
Okay. So I haven't even opened it yet because I was like, well, I'm going to get it now because if I don't keep it, I can bring it back in like 14 days because it's unopened. So I got that, and I'm getting Link's Awakening. That's already paid for and ready to go. That comes out Friday. So I'm like blitzing games right now. So Tony, Fire Emblem just like animated the fuck out of me in this story. I was like, what the hell is going on?
You got there? You got there. Yeah, buddy. You know what I'm talking about now,
well,
right?
Sort of. I don't really know. I mean, I don't know, but
you guys will have to PM each other later.
They definitely just animate it. I think it's chapter 13, maybe 12. I don't know. I feel like I'm on part. I don't know. I can't remember where I'm at now. It's been a couple of days since I was going to pick it up and play it today, so I refreshed myself to where exactly I'm at, but I wasn't able to with work. So I know that something major just happened. It wasn't a choice, though. I know you said there's like a serious choice that comes up, and you'll know that. I definitely didn't have a choice. It was more like I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? And then it felt like a real anime episode. Like an anime where you're just like, yep, this just feels like Ava. Like it just feels like Ava right now because I have no idea what's going on. But it was good, though. Like my team is really powerful. Like I just rolled through that mission, no issues. Like I just rolled over people. When it's like a chapter, like in between chapters, I level my guys up in like the paralog missions and the even like the quest missions. Now I'm just doing. I don't really do much in the because I'm looking at this game like this is a 2 playthrough kind of game for me. I'm recruiting some people, but I'm mostly just like I'm gonna level the shit out of this, play the story, and then the next game is gonna be recruit the hell out of people. So that's what I'm doing. So I play a lot of battles, and like so the chapter stories like in between are all like my scrubs. I level those guys up. I don't bring, and then like when the actual mission happens, it's like okay, A team go, like just fill everybody up A team, and yeah, and it's I did that last mission in 6 turns, and there's no like over like it's not, yeah it's I'm a little bit too powerful like and it makes me like is there like an extra level of difficulty?
You're playing on the hard difficulty?
Yeah.
Yeah. They just last week in the DLC drop.
Okay.
They did Lunatic, which apparently
Nightmare or something.
I think it's maddening mode or something.
This is like what is this one? This one the regular difficulty, not the easy mode, not casual, but what's it, heroic? What's not casual? The one above from that. The normal mode.
Hard.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just whatever the normal mode is.
I think it's just hard.
Yeah,
there's only 2 modes, so it's either easy or normal or whatever.
Oh, normal. I think it's normal. So I'm on normal, and I'm like, it's a little bit easy, but I'm enjoying the game though. Like I said, that's perfect setup for me at my office. Like I can actually play it there in between things, and I can play. I bring it home and play it. But I usually, what else I've been doing is playing Gears at home, and I'm getting through that game. And Mike, you said it's Gears is Gears. It's not actually Gears. I give them credit here. Because they did something, they're trying to make it different. They're trying to spruce it up with open areas. I've been in 2 open areas now to do things.
To be honest, I just played like a horde thing.
Okay, and that's
I was gonna say like the very
not
beginning of the game is
not
like
playing the story,
introducing you to hey, this is how Gears works. You guys remember this thing, right? Okay, now we're gonna change it up on you.
Yes.
Like you have to get a little bit ways into it.
Yeah, and so you have your like leveling up bot where you can power him up. Even with like these side missions, each side mission basically unlocks his like ultimate attacks for each. Like you get more abilities as you go. In like there's a couple different worlds. Graphically, the game's freaking fantastic. But they tried to change it up. Give them credit. Like I'm not saying it's worked. The story's been very good actually, but the open worlds are just a little bit too big and not enough to do. Like it's like here's an open world, but it feels like they're like. The last second, like, hey, we have 6 missions. Is that enough to have an open world? Yeah, let's just do it. So that's really, I mean, you're in this giant world, and you really only have, like, 6 things to do in the area. And it's just like, it's not necessary. But I do give them credit for giving that attempt. Like, you got to try to change it up, because you're on Gears 5.
There was an attempt.
Yes. Gears 5.
I mean, I think for the most part they succeeded.
Yeah.
From what I've played.
It's been like it's not bad. It's just they should have filled it in more. If you had more stuff to do, like you could just sat around and like I don't want to give up too much of where you are in the story, but if you want to sit around the first I could have sat around the open world area. I was like doing as much as I could when I came by it, and then I'm like, there just wasn't enough. I finished all of it, and I went on to the next area. Now I'm in the next area, and I'm cruising through Act 3 right now, and there's 5 acts. I'm probably 3/4 of the way through it of Act 3. But man, I have to say that there is a boss battle in this where fuck you, Matriarch. That's all I'm going to say is fuck you, Matriarch. I almost threw my controller last night. It almost happened. Wow. The Elite controller is the only thing that stopped me from just throwing my controller on the ground. Because I was holding that expensive product, I'm like, I can't throw this because it's too pricey. And I'm like, and plus I'm like,
you gotta get like a stress ball controller shape and just like pick that up and chuck it.
There was just some bullshit. It's a bullshit fight. If you get touched, you die. Mm-hmm. So by yourself, it's really tough when you're by yourself and you have to rely on your computer friends to do damage to the boss. And you're like, okay, I'm just going to do all this myself. So it takes a long time. And I would get to like the last section. I was probably on him for like 30 to 45 minutes last night. Or her, whatever, the Matriarch. And I was swearing at my screen, trying to be quiet because I have a 6-year-old sleeping in the other room. And I'm like, fucking I'm just like going off, and I'm just like hitting the couch with my fist, and I'm like, I have not been this frustrated in a game in a long fucking time. And it's not that it's not like what's the Dark Souls, like the game I played, the Sekiro. It's not like that because I expected that in that game. This game is like, I've been flying through this game, playing, enjoying it, and all of a sudden you hit this fight and you're like, I was like, do I turn the difficulty down? Like, this is fucking bullshit. And then finally I got through it, and it is one of those accomplishments where you're like, fuck you, yes, I got you, fuck you. And all I kept thinking was, we used to play this game on like the hardest difficulty, and I'm like, this is on just normal, and I'm getting owned by this guy. But it was just a pain in the ass. But I am enjoying the game quite a bit. I'm most of the way through Act 3.
Playing it right now.
Yeah. I was looking to see if you were on last night. I was on last night, but you didn't get on until I was logging off. You came on about after 11. Yeah. I was on at I got on 8 till about 11 I played.
I was watching the Jets until...
Yeah, that's true. That's right. So...
Yeah. Only the Jets, man.
Only the Jets. And the Mets. And the Mets. See, the Mets and the Jets, they go together. So, and that's really it for me. That's all I've been playing. Corey, hit us with your stuff.
There's really only been one thing.
Yes, we all know. Saved it for last year.
Yeah, no, Borderlands, I got my shirt on here, obviously. Borderlands 3 came out on Friday. We record this on Tuesday night. So I got to play Friday. Actually, so what happened is they released it in GMT time. So at 12 or midnight GMT on Thursday, it was released. And so obviously with the time, anyone on PC could play that game early. And if you're on console, you could play it at that point. If you're looking at the map of the world, if you were on the east side of the GMT border, you got to play it when GMT time turned to midnight. But on the west side, so North America, we couldn't do it on console until 12. We had to wait. So what people were doing was, and I saw this on a thread on Reddit, they just changed their region to New Zealand and got to play at 7 o'clock.
Nice. Very nice.
So that's what I did. I changed my system to the New Zealand region, and it unlocked my download of Borderlands 3, and I started playing. A couple of guys I play Borderlands Destiny with are also playing it too. So we all jumped in together to start the game and played probably a good, from maybe 9 o'clock to midnight or something, 3 hours or so. And yeah, it's awesome. They definitely get the feel of Borderlands. Everything that I know, remember from Borderlands 2 is all there, but then they really make it modern. Modern shooter style. You want to have the smooth controls. You want to have better gunplay and more varied, options there. And it's all there for you. You can slide, which you couldn't do before. You can mantle, which you couldn't do before. And the different weapons change some of the stuff some of the way you behave as well, which is really neat. And if you've seen trailers or the marketing, they have different alternate modes that they can fire with. So some weapons are burst fire, or they can also be full auto. Some weapons have like rockets that you can shoot out, or grenade, like basically it's like a grenade launcher. Others have like sticky bombs essentially, and then when you reload, they blow up. And so, or you can switch it to like blow it up on impact. So there's like so much variety, and they make it all unique, which is what really was like. I was a little worried about. I was like, you claim to have 1 billion guns, but really, or is it? It's like, is it just like 5 things, and then they just change the look of them, right? But to be honest, like so far, there's been a huge range of different weapons, and they all kind of behave differently, and that's what's really impressed me a bunch, because I could have gone the easy route and just been like, all right, this is going to shoot like this, and this one's going to shoot like this, and then we'll change the skins and call them 1 billion guns. So I'm a bit impressed with that. Obviously, you guys know I love Borderlands, so I was going to already be, hype levels through the roof, and I kind of give it a benefit of the doubt type of thing. But this game has been running very poorly. So
really?
If you're on console, you have to be in performance mode. If you're not in performance mode, you cannot play this game.
Wow.
You have the X, right, or no?
I have the X. Yeah.
Holy shit! Really?
You cannot. Like, if you are in 4K 30 is what the resolution mode is. It is not 30 ever. And the 4K, like, sure, you're in 4K, but you're basically looking at stills half the time.
Oh wow.
And this is on the X. Yeah.
Wow.
So it is basically unplayable in resolution mode. You have to play on performance mode.
What's the
and in
frame rate
performance
on
mode, it's supposed to be 60.
Yeah, I know.
It dips to 50 and can go to 40, but the thing is, it's not consistent. So like you're getting higher frames, but it's just not consistent, and you can tell. You can notice it. Like there are a lot of effects, and there is a lot of geometry for a game that looks like a cartoon. There's a lot of geometry in this game. Like when you fire a shotgun at somebody, they fly backwards. Like it is pretty impressive, and they're like bouncing off things and things like that. And Digital Foundry did a whole thing on it, saying it's taxing the CPU. It's not the GPU that's being taxed. The CPU is being like maxed out, and that's what's causing a lot of the issues. Also, there's a lot of like social network features in this game, which is really cool. Like they went like hard on the streamer influencers. Like there's a lot of integration there. Like if a streamer is playing a game, you can affect their game as like, Twitch plays type of thing, where you can add bosses into the game that they have to fight, and then you can heal those enemies as they're shooting them. So it's interesting. And then when they get rewards, there's like a lottery for the people in the chat. If you're watching, you could potentially win the guns that they get.
So they've really integrated this. They've got this streaming integration done now. Yeah,
they're going hard on that, and so there's some of that stuff in the game as well for non-streaming people. So there's this whole social aspect where when there's a friend online, you can see where they're playing. So like, say, hey, I'm gonna go to this part of the map, and they'll say, oh, you have friends in this part of the map as well. You can join them like with one click. Then there's like you can get mail from your friends, like so you get sent mail in like a mailbox that you can access.
World of Warcraft.
Yeah, and obviously, you can trade in game and stuff, but you get mail. And when you're shooting your weapons, like if you choose a manufacturer, they have different manufacturers, and they all are very different.
Corey froze.
Loyal Tars.
Corey, you froze.
TK's getting at him. They don't like what he's saying.
No, the different manufacturers. They have like Jacobs manufacturer, Maliwan, Torg. They all feel different, but if you like choose one and start killing a bunch of enemies with that manufacturer, they'll send you mail as well. It's like, hey, here's a gun for using our manufacturer or whatever. So that's really cool. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and like they captured that Borderlands feel. It doesn't feel like a games as a service at all. There's like skins and heads and trinkets, basically like the phone charms that you can put on guns, skins for your guns. All that stuff is not something you're paying for with real world money. You're earning it within the game, and it's all everything's within the game. So that's been really nice, to kind of refreshing, so to speak. But the performance issues, like going into the menu, is rough. They really need to patch this because it's hard to do things sometimes. And then the other downside is the humor is not there. It's not as good as Borderlands 2. It's and I don't know if it's because I was younger in those days. You kind of like didn't care as much. And not that I care like I appreciate a good poop joke now and then. Like it's it's poop's always funny, farts are funny. Like it's all good and dandy, but a lot of these are very hit and miss. I'd say the jokes, and some of them are actually offensive, and so
really?
So it's kind of like been like a little bit of like disappointing in that aspect where the writing has not been as good as I was hoping for. It's very Borderlands. Like if you guys know Borderlands, it's very much Borderlands style, and they definitely are aiming for that 13, 14-year-old male demographic. But at the same time, Borderlands 2 did it in a way that I think was much that you could kind of get that crowd and also get the more adult, mature crowd, and it can appreciate both. Here, just like it doesn't always land very well. So,
yeah.
Do you know if there's like a lot of writing staff turnover since the last game? Or?
Yeah, I was about to ask if it was the same writers.
No. Borderlands 2 was Anthony Birch. Borderlands 3 is 2 new writers that have not.
Okay, so part of exactly different. Very different, actually.
Yeah, I've heard that's been some gripes is the juvenile conversations that happen. It's like it sounds like
absolutely.
Yeah,
and that is definitely something is very easy to ignore though, because like you're just having fun shooting guns and like farming stuff. Like it's pretty easy to ignore, but at the same time,
I don't know. I really love that banter like during the game with like Jack, when we had Handsome Jack, and
and they try to do it here. It's not as good. Obviously, it's not as good, but they do make the Vault Hunters much more fleshed out. Like in 2, you basically were just an avatar. Here, you have a fleshed out character, which is it's definitely more there in that aspect. But at the same time, the villain so far has not been nearly as good as Handsome Jack, and that's tough. Like, how do you follow up like the greatest villain that you've had? It's
so as someone who hasn't really played the previous games and would likely play the majority of the single player, is it worth playing?
I mean, you're asking someone who is going to give you a sweet answer. But
is there for me personally, there for someone like that?
Yeah, absolutely. This the game, I think, does a great job for people who want to play solo and who want to play in cooperative mode. You can play with any level people as well. So they give you 2 options right when you start. You can play the game in a cooperative mode or competitive mode, they called it. So it's cooperative basically means everybody has their own loot pools, loot streams, and are shooting enemies at their level. So if I'm hosting the game, obviously I've been playing a bunch, I'm level 30, you're starting, you're at level 1, you're helping, you're doing things because everybody that you are fighting is on level for you, and you're getting gear that's on level for you. And that goes vice versa for me at level 30. If you're doing a competitive, or competitive, they call it here, mode, then if you jump into my game, you're getting screwed. You can't do anything because you're not going to be, you're just way under leveled. But at the same time, you're getting experience for level 50 enemies or whatever level I'm at.
Oh, okay.
So you could power level.
Yeah, you can still power level.
Yeah, you could power level yourself in that way. Where in like competitive, like cooperative mode, you wouldn't be able to actually power level.
And in that one, you'd also steal some loot from.
Yeah, exactly. It's one loot pool. Everybody gets the same.
So is it something you can toggle, like every time you boot up the game, or you can switch on the fly? It's not just like a switch. Okay.
I believe you can switch it. Yeah.
Is it one of the things like, let's say, like I boot up the game and nobody else is on, I'm playing it, and then let's say you guys jump on, like, can you just easily join my already existing session? Or
joining it is the easiest thing. Like, they've made it so it's like one button basically, and
cool.
They make it so if you're playing the game, you see exactly where your friends are playing.
Really?
So like even though they're like not in, like you can, there's a button. You hit one button and then it's 2 button presses, and you see like your whole friends list, and they tell you who's playing who, what their loadout is, and then like where they are in the game.
Okay.
And you could just like hit join and you just go right into it, and it's very seamless. I have to say, like joining, drop in, drop out is really well done here.
That's good. It's nice.
Yeah. Okay. Also, you cannot play split screen on console. It's terrible too. The performance stuff has been.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Is it an option though, or?
Split screen is an option on console.
But you tried it,
but it's basically
two player only.
It's like it's like GoldenEye. You're playing GoldenEye in 64. You ever go back to that?
Yeah, with all the mines blowing up and everyone going, oh.
2 frames per second.
Basically, you might as well just have paper and just like ruffling through it. It's what the.
Yeah.
All right.
Not even that.
Let's get into the news here.
That's Borderlands 3, everybody.
Yep. Gears 5. is the biggest launch of any Xbox Game Studio game this generation, attracting over 3 million players opening weekend, twice the number of Gears 4. Obviously, we're dealing with this Game Pass stuff. I mean, it's clearly the great move by Microsoft.
We have two people here that I don't think would have bought the game otherwise or played the game otherwise.
Yeah.
So
absolutely not. Yeah. No, I did.
Exactly. So like that mega influence there.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Game Pass is clearly a great thing for them, and the Game Pass Ultimate was 4 days earlier, and go on.
And it was the first game, I believe, to usurp Fortnite since it took off in 18 months ago, 12, whatever it was.
I mean, like I said, so many people have Game Pass now. You can all just download it and play it. It kind of helps. It's almost like a free to play, not a free to play, but you know what I mean. It's like that kind of same thing where you just download a game and you can play it. You don't have to buy it. And that was great for me when it launched. I downloaded it Saturday of 2 weeks ago, and it was just so cool to just pop in, not pay for it, just download it, and you're good to go. And you get the ultimate version of the game. It's really cool to have. All these companies are going through. They're going to have some subscription model next gen. There's no way they don't. Sony, there's got to be. They already have something in place now.
I'm just curious.
I disagree.
This is making them money. I feel like they're losing money on this.
No, they're not.
I think this deal is too good to be sustainable, to be honest.
I mean, it's a subscription model. I mean, you're getting guaranteed money per month.
Yeah, it's
per
not
person.
that much, though.
Right now, it's not.
We've had that subscription, a similar price point for PlayStation Plus for a long time now.
Yeah.
This is like a free with PlayStation Plus type of game, except it's a new AAA release. I don't see this lasting too long, to be honest.
I mean, it's the same idea though as Netflix. So they're spending $6 billion. I mean, on content, the original content. This is their big, tentpole title to draw people into hey, they'll be like, oh yeah, I might as well get this Ultimate Game Pass or this Game Pass thing because I'm going to play Gears anyway. I might as well get it. It's all about
an ecosystem. That's what it is.
And then once you got it, you're getting, that money from them every month for that game. And then they may trade it in, whoever, if you had the physical version, trade it in to that one-time purchase of $60. And who knows, they might have bought it used, and then that company gets nothing for that game. So subscription model is all about that guaranteed, what's coming in every month. We have subscribers, we know when they come in, when they're going. And you have this foundation of money that's every month is coming in. I think that's more valuable to them than saying, "Oh, I'm going to get $10 million in this one period," where they could be getting, maybe it's not, maybe it's 11 million, maybe it's 12 million, maybe it's 15 million over a course of a year instead. So, who knows? It's more valuable to them because they know what they have on hand.
I feel like we're going to get. I feel like because of this, we'll get more new IPs as well going forward.
I think
it works for first parties maybe because they're sort of cooperating they know where their money is going or how it's working, but I don't see a third party game that
you don't know what the deals are behind the scenes.
I know, but I don't see a third party one that expects to launch this big want to do something like this.
I don't know. Like I said, I think it's.
I mean, it might have helped something like Tomb Raider. I mean, I think that's a good example to use when that second game came out. What was it? Rise of the Tomb Raider?
Yes.
I forget the name.
One of those.
Or Shadow?
No, whatever. Shadow was the last one.
So. It was definitely Rise.
All right, so Rise. I remember that game bombed because it was an exclusive to Xbox One for a year. But I just think it launched at a terrible time of the year. But if it was a Game Pass eligible title, let's just say Game Pass was a thing back then, maybe people would have bought that, or purchased it.
Signed up.
Yeah. And Microsoft would have paid Square whatever, the money they co-signed a deal with, and we don't know because that's behind the scenes paperwork that they most likely will never disclose on how much they were. But obviously it's going to be first party driven primarily because that's what Microsoft needs to do.
We kind of just talked about this in the movie cast too with the streaming.
Right. With Microsoft, I mean, we've said since the beginning of this generation that their biggest opportunity was their IPs because, I mean, you look at it, any new IP that they try to get off the ground kind of didn't really do much in the grand scheme of things, whether it was the exclusive deal with Titanfall, exclusive deal with Rise of the Tomb Raider, was it Rise Rise, right? That Spartan game or whatever like that. I mean, that was
like
a non-issue. Yeah. Sunset Overdrive. I mean, you could buy that for what, $5 brand new right now.
Sony owns that now, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah. Sony owns them and stuff like that. Halo Master Chief Collection bombed because it was such a terrible, buggy mess. Halo 5 did okay, I think.
Yeah.
And Gears Judgment was, I think, a non-entity. So it's just like, you look at all the efforts. I mean, I think Forza is the only ones that were like consistent sellers. And you look at everything, and it's just like they put all this money into it, and they weren't seeing the returns, which is hard to justify because a lot of these games, because let's face it, they're not Nintendo. They can't just release a game and it sells for months and months, years. Something like Mario Kart or Zelda.
And holds its value for you.
Right, and holds its value. It's, hey, this game came out. It's going to sell at least 50% of its lifetime sales in the first month. So if you're already starting off low, like that's a really bad sign. So for them, it just makes more sense. Like, hey, let's go the Netflix out. Let's do a subscription service. We make money off the service. That way, maybe the hits aren't so super up high. With like a 10 million sales, but the average I think is going to be overall better because let's face it. I mean, what franchise does Microsoft have that is going to be on the same level of Mario or Last of Us or Uncharted or Spider-Man?
It used to be Halo.
It used to be Halo, and they lost it.
Yeah.
Look, again, I'll reiterate. Splatoon 2 has outsold Halo 5. I mean, that would have been if anybody had mentioned that 4 years ago when Splatoon was revealed for the Wii U, that hey, the sequel to this game is going to outsell Halo 5. You would have been fucking laughed out of the room, like just absolutely laughed out of the room.
Yeah.
And that's the reality we live in. So Microsoft just needs to do this. They need to focus on building up their IPs. They can be riskier because now, again, they're investing a pool of money, and it's just, hey, you get this much, you get this much, you get this much, make your game, and just throw it out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we got you guys to play it. I mean,
as you can see, the Gears numbers are looking good right now. So back to that original part.
And that's the thing is it drives itself because you look at these multiplayer games, especially if people are willing to try it and download it. That means there's more people playing those games. So now when you go online, like it's not like a dead community. You're not being like, oh man, well, I'm never playing this. Right? Exactly.
It's better, and also like then that gets you to try other games like from other parties and. Mm-hmm. Indie titles that you may not have ever tried before. I mean, I've seen posts on Reddit all the time of people like, "Oh, if I didn't have Game Pass, I would never have tried so-and-so title." Now I'm going out and buying all their titles. And so
like I downloaded Sea of Thieves just because it was fucking there. I was like, right, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the other news. We've got Tokyo Game Show was last week. We started talking about a little bit of it on the show, and we had more stuff come out afterwards. So obviously, that's how it usually works. DBZ Kakarot was there, which had an awesome collector's edition announced, and I'm just like $200. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't swing it.
Spent more than that on the Borderlands collection.
Yeah, I mean, I know that. Yeah, I know, but I just can't swing it. I don't know. But
it's kind of cool about actually the Borderlands like Diamond Loot Chest thing is like it went very heavy on the D&D theming of it.
Dude, I'm kind of pissed because I bought that off the 2K store, and they would not change the shipping address because I just had to ship it to the person I was selling it to. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'll just receive it and then I'll ship it right to that guy directly. It cost me $37 to fucking ship that thing because it was so goddamn heavy. I was like, holy shit! Like, I still made a good amount of money, but I'm just like, holy, like, I was like two-handing that shit. I was like, boom.
Yeah, no, it's hefty, man. It's really cool. It's really cool.
I know.
So, I mean, the biggest things here, Death Stranding was not playable at the show, which is weird.
Yeah.
Shut off more video, dude.
What is that game?
Why was it not playable if it comes out in 2 months? It comes out in less than 2 months. Less than 2 months.
I know. I don't know. I don't know.
Stops for there's like, here's a check. Just make whatever the fuck you want.
I just feel like there's a chance like the whole thing is kind of like a joke at this point. Like, are we being trolled? Like,
maybe he got like
the whole thing a joke?
I think he literally got every single one of his friends to to be in the game. Like, he's just like, here you go. You want to be in it? You in it? You're in it? Yeah. You're in it? Yeah. So
you get to be in the game. You get to be in the game.
Yeah, because you even made this.
Gets to be in the game.
He made this tweet over the weekend where he's like, "When I left Konami, I only had like my laptop, this, that, and the other thing." It was kind of like one of those like getting his feet back on ground and stuff. And I'm just like, I like you and all, dude, and I 100% agree. You got done dirty by Konami, but let's not act like anybody can just have a dream and a laptop and be able to make a AAA Sony funded game that they were just given their engine from some other first party studio. That doesn't happen. Like, I'm sorry. Like, let's you got saved essentially. Yeah. And that's what it was. Sony was like, let's take them before somebody else gets them, and that's a smart move because if they didn't, maybe Microsoft did, or whoever.
Especially with Microsoft obviously acquiring as much as they can, and that was a good idea. I think the most impressive game of the show was Final Fantasy VII. I heard a lot of talk about that on Twitter and everything. People were really impressed how that game was playing, gameplay-wise. It looked good. It looked real. I really can't wait to play that game. Really good. I'm actually really getting excited for that game now. Yeah,
and they also announced too that you can play it 100% retro, like turn-based. Like, you don't have to do any of the actiony stuff. You can
just play it. Yeah, it's so awesome. Oh. It was still like a constant. You have to make a move kind of turn. It was always didn't have the that was the first Final Fantasy game that actually had the active meter, didn't it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it was still turn based. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I thought was that in 8 they brought that into then, or 10? Maybe it was 10
as well.
Maybe it was 10.
Maybe 10.
Yeah, maybe it was 10 I'm thinking of. I just remember the active meter where you had to you have to make a move at some point as the active meter because you'll get hit.
Sure? You're not thinking of Grandia?
No, I'm pretty certain it's Final Fantasy. It might have been FF10, where if you just don't do anything, the boss will attack you at some point, or the enemy will. You can just stand there and not make a decision. It's that fill gauge. They have that fill gauge going up.
Yeah, ATB.
Yeah, the ATB. Yeah. So I don't know. I remember it as being you had to make a move at some point, but maybe I'm thinking that's later on in 10. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this quite a bit. I'll play it. I want to try the new style.
Wasn't there collector's edition like $350 or something?
Yeah.
I couldn't swing that.
I'm just gonna get this.
That looks so sweet though.
It does. It fucking does.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, that's such a really...
The thing is, the reason I didn't get that is because this is episodic, and we don't even know how many episodes it's going to be. Yep. So I was like, you can't just go like, oh, I'll go all out on the first episode, and you can't not get go all out on the other episodes.
Now what if they release like another $350?
Right, exactly, and that's it. I'm not paying $1,000 over the course of like 3 or 4
maybe more
release. Right. Yeah. I was like I don't get me wrong, I love that game, but I'm not spending $1,000. I've never spent $1,000 on any single game. Even WoW over 6 years, I don't think it adds up to that much.
Yeah.
Maybe it does, but that was fucking 8 years of my life or some shit. So
financed it essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Is it $15 a month, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah. In other news, we are the greatest for coming up with great ideas for companies that are failing. It's like they were just listening to our podcast. It really was. GameStop has shown the reveal for a new store redesign. I saw this on Facebook, this video the shot of his new store, and it's just exactly what we were talking about. They've gone retro style, hang out, play games. Oh, you can also buy some games here. You can still do the used games trade-ins, but it's like a party room now. It looks like such a better style for them. It looks much more focused, much more just you still have a little bit of collectibles, but you could bring people in just to play games that way and spend money in the store while they're there. You
gotta make people want to be in the store because a lot of these GameStops are shit holes in back alleyways. They look hole
in the wall places.
They look like pawn shops.
Yeah, they do.
Some of them are seriously they just look like pawn shops.
And the kids there, they don't give a shit. They don't care. So you really you want people to want to be in your store, and when you go into a GameStop, you don't want to be in there. It's plus, you can't even move. None of these places are wheelchair friendly. Ever.
No, you can't get through the kiosk areas.
Most of them are very tight.
Yeah. So it's the way they were designed, and I like that setup with the seating arrangement in the back. You have the middle of the place has that the desk for them to help you at, and then you can go around and play retro games. You got they have the nice TV in the front.
It almost kind of looked like a Microsoft store.
Yeah, I like the design. I think it's a good idea for them. I hope it works out because I think that's the next way they can save their company by making it more attractive to bring people in. Just hang out and play games. Charge people to play some retro. So I don't know if they're going to charge people for time.
It's almost like a friendly local game store for board gaming. People go to board game stores because they have a community there to play Magic or or to know like the people that go there, and like there's a community around that, and
I can see a
lot of here.
Yeah, see a lot of retro tournaments. I can see a lot of that.
Well, I can have birthday parties there too.
Yeah,
like,
birthday parties. Yeah, absolutely. I was just saying that to my girlfriend. I was saying that like they need to be a place where you can just host parties. Hang out with your friends. Go there and play. If you guys want to play some old ass retro consoles, they got
tournaments.
Them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, like you said, like a card shop, an old Magic card shop, or a comic book store, like those hangout places that don't exist anymore. Really, they're tough for me, at least. I know there are some still out there, but in my area, there's not many of those left at all. So our area, but all right. Lastly on the news,
free marketing for people. Like, jeez, we just had $1 million idea. We
did. We just gave it to him.
Yeah,
it was fairly obvious.
Sure. It's just funny.
No, it was fairly obvious. Well, I mean. Hold on. It's objectively fairly obvious, but GameStop has been on the decline for 3, 4, 5 years now at this point, and they literally implemented almost every single thing we went through. If you just listen to that podcast episode, I think it was 5 weeks ago or something like that. Maybe
2 months ago. It was a little while back, but it wasn't that far.
Yeah.
But yes. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
We'll see if this actually works too. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know.
No, you're right.
I like the
execution also. You could have the plans and the ideas, and you don't execute it. I mean,
right. Yeah. That's the thing. Is look, what? No, it's not going to just be one thing that reverses GameStop's fortune, but it'll be a good start to bring people into the store, which is, I think, their first thing. Because let's face it, the way it's laid out right now is most of these are just glorified toy. Pawn shops, like I said, we're just merchandise all over, games all over, and it's just a cluttered mess. It looks disgusting.
I was just in there picking up Borderlands. I'm like, the guy's like, oh, can I help you find anything? I'm like, yeah, I can't find shit. So, but yeah.
Yeah, shit's always just hanging off shelves and these random ass racks in the middle, and then most of the stuff is clearanced out. It's just who's ever gonna take this off their hands and stuff just so wasteful.
It does feel it feels like one of those it's just like you said, a pawn shop. It feels like a back alley store kind of thing. You're just I feel more comfortable.
Not to mention,
we have a local I haven't been up there in a while, but by us there's a local old gaming store, retro gaming store, and it's much more comfortable in there. So it's
absolutely.
Just that's the style.
If a mom and pop store do GameStop with the backing of their corporate entity should be able to execute on that. And the other thing is too is every time you're in there, you're gonna have a conversation where they try to sell you. Obviously they want to sell you something, but they always try to upsell you. Do you want to pre-order? Oh, do you have your Power Up membership? Oh, can I interest you in this extended warranty?
What the fuck is it? For the record, guys,
don't fall for this GameStop.
I know, but don't fall for this extended warranty bullshit. Does anybody realize how rough it is to scratch a Blu-ray disc? The data on the disc is so much more protected than it used to be on these old CDs.
How about the Switch cards?
Oh yeah, they try to offer that to me because I traded in
insurance on the Switch card. I'm like, I don't think so, buddy.
I looked at them. I was like, dude, I'm just trading in 3 games. You could see they're all in pristine condition, including the boxes. I don't need it. Thank you though.
Yeah, I almost said fuck no to him when he asked me, do you want the protection on this? I'm like, don't you fucking understand how hard it is to scratch a Blu-ray disc? You can scratch the shit out of the bottom of it. It doesn't matter.
It's not for you. It's for this 5-year-old kid that's just gonna take that and skateboard down the hallway with it.
Yeah, I guess. But Jesus. You could literally, chuck it across the room.
To be fair though, you have a 6-year-old now. These kids, they can mess shit up. They find a way.
Like I said about the Switch, I would have lost something by now if I was
but they don't know it's not going to give you stuff if you lose it. Oh yeah,
I know. Well, no, if you have it within I don't know, or you drop it somewhere stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, those extended warranties and stuff, maybe they pay off 1 out of 100 times, maybe.
Yeah.
It's the shotgun method. Just you shoot enough rounds, it's gonna hit something eventually.
Yep. All right. Lastly, Tony, what's this picture you sent us here at the bottom of the news? Is that?
Oh, there's the new Overwatch event. It's Overwatch Lego.
Ah, yeah. Okay, that's what it is.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I posted without context because when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is just another Lego toy kit.
I thought it was a Lego toy. Yeah.
Bastion. Right. It's actually Lego, in a Lego event they're running, where kind of what was it? A year or two ago with they had a Diva event where they got streamers in, so you could watch specific streamers to unlock rewards like emotes and sprays and all that stuff. This time around, it's just a Lego endorsed event. So Bastion is the skin you can earn if you, I think, win six games of Overwatch, which is pretty doable within a month time period or whatever it is like that. It looks pretty awesome. There's some cool like Lego sprays where it's the Overwatch characters in their Lego form doing whatever. So it's pretty cool. And I was like, oh look, there you go, nice collaboration.
Yeah.
I just know that I haven't played Overwatch in a while because I definitely thought that was a Transformer or something.
No, I knew it was an Overwatch. I thought it was a Lego model.
He's the original character. He's not even a.
Yeah, he's a launch character.
Yeah.
Right? No, I remember Bastion. It's just
when I first saw, I was like, oh,
the colors. It's just like, what was
yes. My buddy at work's huge Overwatch guy, and he like showed it to me when it like hit like, Twitter or whatever, and I was like, oh, that's cool. They're like putting out. I was like, I built that, but I guess they're changing the colors of it and making like a special edition or something. He's like, no, this is in game. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, exactly what I thought. I was like, oh, another like skin, because I know Corey, you bought that kit and built.
Yeah, I have.
Right? Yeah. So I was like, oh, I was like, wait. I was like, oh, that's an actual skin and stuff like that, which is pretty
cool.
And it looks exactly like a Lego model too.
Yeah, it
like,
does. I thought it was a Lego
exactly.
kit. I thought it was a Lego kit. Like that's really. I was like, why is this? What is this doing here? So, yeah. All right, that's it. I think that's gonna wrap up 464 of the Gamecast. Thanks for tuning in. You can write us, podcast at allygeek.net. You can follow us on Twitter. You can like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube if you're watching us. We appreciate it. Tune in next week. Lot of Borderlands, I'm sure, coming up. I'll hopefully have...
Zelda.
And Zelda, yeah. I'll hopefully have that started with Gears finished and my second playthrough started of Fire Emblem. So look forward to that. See you guys next week.